G'day Spurs fans, Paul the Hotspur hippie here, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet, and we've got a whole glut of games coming up. And the the Fleet Street Meathead hacks, or whoever they are, is probably a lot of these sites are conglomerates of social media, just rubbish. Man, do they try and make things sound more dramatic than required. There seems to be a bit of a fad at the moment. Now that everyone's onto the idea that Ange is doing rotation, because we can, how about that? Instead of players just being rotated around, the last headline I saw was James Maddison to be axed by Ange Postecoglou against Ferencvaros. It's it's a joke, man. It's a joke. They keep trying to bring Tottenham down. They keep trying to undermine us, and it ain't going to work because we've got the right manager and we've got a lot of the right players now. And when you compare Tottenham to Manchester United, I mean, Manchester United, it's not a dissimilar sort of kind of state to what Tottenham has been in previous years, you know, the tail end of the Poch days. And I mean, I don't know for sure, but it seems to be from, you know, what you hear around is that in the last part of Poch, as well as him being completely sold down the river by the owners, the players started getting the shits. There was too much player power at Tottenham, and these players probably, in my opinion, did their same shenanigans with Nuno and Mourinho and Conte. But I'm not going to fully blame the players, because the manager's got to have the right personality, hasn't it? You know, you've got to assume, I think, that a lot of players are playing it because they love it. You know, since they could walk, they've been, if you like Glenn Hoddle, kicking a sponge football around your bedroom so that you don't hurt anything. Playing every waking moment of football because you love it. And so if you've got a guy in charge that has that same passion for it, yeah, and not just cold hard winning. I think that's the difference. I mean, don't get me wrong, Ange loves to win and he always wins, but he keeps on saying there's an important way, there's an important method of getting there. You've got to enjoy and play good football to do that, then that takes care of itself. Whereas the likes of Mourinho and Conte were, well, you give me a squad of players worth 500 million and I will finagle it so that we win every game 1-0 and win the league. That's kind of what they do. You look at Manchester United, the managers they've gone through, what was it, Van Gaal, Solskjaer, Mourinho, and now Ten Hag looks like he's on his way out. And I don't think any of them, maybe Ollie had the right personality, but it didn't go right in the end for him. I thought he had the best hope out of that lot. They just haven't got the right personality to not only to inspire the players, to get the best out of the players, to make football fun. Make football fun. You know, there's plenty of managers that abide by that sort of thing. Brian Clough used to be big, I mean, I know times have changed, but he used to be big on rest and relaxation for players, because he said that whenever players are relaxed, that's when they play the best. So you've got to enjoy what you're doing. And I don't think taking people's tomato sauce away is quite the way to do it. This is one of the big reasons why I was so keen for Ange to come to Tottenham, because it's a difficult place, and I'm talking about the ownership at the moment. Difficult place to come in and manage and be successful. But I thought if there's one man that can do it, it's Ange Postecoglou. It's not his first rodeo. He's dealt with hard owners before, but he doesn't ask for the moon on a stick. And you can see how the players are reacting now. We're getting to that stage where they're starting to click. I mean, I'm only saying they're starting to click because there's a bit more clicking to come. But there's signs already of how awesome this team's going to be. Is it going to be enough for us to make a challenge in the league this year? Of course it is. The quad's on. I don't know. I think we're going to get close. One more year, and I think a lot of people are going to be very frightened of us. No one wants to play us, I mean, would you want to be out on a pitch with Tottenham Hotspur marauding at you? You don't get 2 seconds on the ball without, I don't know, Solanke or Kulusevski nicking the ball off you. You know, you definitely don't want to be a keeper fart-arsing around like Onana playing football, or Pickford. I mean, that was a good one, wasn't it? We never let teams rest. It's a bit like the old Jack Charlton Republic of Ireland side of the early 90s. You can up the tempo and work rate and skill of your team by getting the ball more often. Don't let the other team get comfortable. And when you do that, there's not a lot of tactics that can be played against us. Whatever they try and employ, we've got football brains now. Ange is giving our players a whole set of tools and encouragement. And he has, even when the performances have not been good, he hasn't thrown his dummy out of the pram like other managers have, and this players that and that players, which he could have done after the Coventry game. But the most you'll get out of Ange is, we didn't perform well. It wasn't a good performance, which is obvious. It's obvious, and players know when things have worked and when things haven't. So, when you cock something up, do you really need someone to point the finger? If you're a professional that's trying to improve every day, is it helpful? Maybe it is, I suppose, for some personality types to be nagged and cajoled and harangued. It's not going to make you enjoy your football, whereas our players know that the manager's got their back. And as time goes on, it's going to be more and more down to the players. This is what will happen. The players will just run with it now, run with it. I saw an interview with Keith Birkinshaw before the 1982, I don't know if it was quarterfinals or something like that. And I think we got drawn against Ipswich, something like that, I can't remember. But the question to Birkinshaw was, what about facing off against Terry Venables, that was it. It was QPR. So it must have been 81, because we played QPR in the final. I don't know. Anyway, sometime. And he said, how do you feel about facing off against Terry Venables? And Keith Birkinshaw said, look, all this talk about managers is overrated. No, I can't do a Keith Birkinshaw. Sorry, man, that was disrespectful. That was almost my Gary Neville. Hey, they need a centre forward. Managers are kind of overrated. It's down to the players, So that's one of the ways. Keith was a very, very good manager in assembling the jigsaw puzzle. It took him a few years to get there. But then as soon as he plopped in Garth Crooks and Steve Archibald, we were off and away. And I think that's what Ange is doing. He's building the jigsaw. He knows what he kind of wants from the players, but I think they've also got a huge amount of freedom to express themselves, as long as they run forward. That's the only thing. That's the only unforgivable thing. If you're Lucas Berevile and you kick it backwards or sideways, you're going to get a shouting to. You can't do that, man. You've got to go that way. But we've got a couple of days now till our game in Hungary, Ferencváros. Very significant. It was our potential finalist in the 71 UEFA Cup final, but Wolves beat them in the semi. But the links with Ferenc Puskás, Tottenham links there, Arthur Rowe from Tottenham, trained him, and then Ferenc also trained Ange Postecoglou when he was at South Melbourne for a couple of years. So, we're talking football pedigree, man, through and through. It doesn't matter where on the planet you are born. If you know ball, you know ball. Don't matter if it's Australia, Fiji, I don't know, Botswana, I don't know. Pick any country, they're going to have people that know football. And we shouldn't just poo-poo them just because they don't come from the British Isles. Bear in mind, the last English manager to win the Premier League, it's never happened actually. Never happened. Last English manager to win was Howard Wilkinson in '92, the last season of the old First Division. So people need to pull their heads in a little bit sometimes and look at the world as one big happy family, all capable of playing football. The world game, the game that unites us. Fun times for everyone, man. I'm looking forward to Ferencváros. I think we're going to smash them. well, I don't know, man. It's a hard game. It's a hard game. I think it's going to be a great game. It's one of those early mornings I don't mind getting up for. It's about 2:30 kickoff. But hey, what can you do? I'm stuck with it, aren't I? So I hope to do a watch along for this one. I regret not doing a watch along for the game against Man United, because I woke up and I thought, a bit buggered, a bit tired, been working a lot. And I thought, no, I'll just watch this one in bed. And of course, within 3 minutes, I was pumped up, punching the ceiling. So maybe I just got to do it. Look, if I get tired, I can always stop, can't I? But it doesn't really happen when there's a game on, and if we win, I can't sleep afterwards anyway. Anyway, bit of a ramble today as we wait for the next load of fixtures to start, but I hope you're all cool out there. Actually, you know what? It looks like, when I gave Leo Mahai Hotspur a plug, it got the algorithm into action, so I'm going to give you another plug. If you want some drum and bass music, head on over to Future Music Sound. He's a Tottenham boy, and he does great drum and bass sounds and great videos. I'll put a link in the description. Enjoy that one, put that one in your pipe and smoke it. Until next time, folks, peace and love, man. Peace and love, and come on, you Spurs!